Hello and welcome to this third part of Welcome to SilverBullet, in which I try to demonstrate some of the features of SilverBullet that you may want to know about or figure out how to start using yourself. In this third part, we're going to focus a little bit on some best practices or tricks you can use to structure your space. In the previous video, we already mentioned that you can use folders, and folders in SilverBullet have no specific meaning or semantics. They're kind of a way of namespacing your nodes, if you will. So by simply putting in a slash in your page name, SilverBullet will automatically make sure that that folder actually exists. So you can say person/Hank, person/Jenny, and so on. If that's what you want to do, if that's makes you happy to kind of use this type of folder-based namespacing for your use case, you can do that. That works fine. There are some plugs like TreeView that actually make that whole experience a little bit nicer, because then you get a sidebar where you actually physically see the folders that you can expand and you can move stuff around. It's kind of nice if that's how you want to structure your space. What I want to show you here is more focused on a different way of doing that, which is using tagging. And tagging in SilverBullet can be done at various levels. We'll start with showing you how to do this at the page level, but then I'll also show you can tag items, you can tag tasks, and you can even create custom data objects that can be tagged in a particular way. And in the end, we will also have a look at documents, which is kind of unrelated, but I wanted to cover anyway. All right, tagging. So previously we used folders. Now we're not going to use folders. We're just going to create two pages called Harry with all my meeting notes on Harry. And we're going to tag it. And we're going to tag it with a hashtag called person. I'm also going to create another page called Jenny, and then meeting notes on Jenny. And also here, I'm going to tag that as person. And here you see you get code completion because I used that tag before. It's important to put in this white space here, and it doesn't really matter, honestly, where you put the tag. It only matters that tags at the page level appear in an empty paragraph, empty space, because otherwise SilverBullet has trouble figuring out if this is a tag that should apply to the page, or it should apply to the paragraph, or it should apply to a task or an item or other things, right? So just good practice is to keep this in an empty line. You can put multiple hashtags there. Honestly, you can interweave these things. Like if you want to have an empty, you can put it somewhere in the middle of your page if you like. Generally, I tend to put them either at the top or the bottom. But anyway, so now we have two pages tagged with person. If I click on the hashtag, I now go to the tag page, which shows me all the objects tagged with person. Now, in the future sessions, we'll talk about objects and queries and all this fancy stuff that SilverBullet offers. Right now, all you have to know here is there's stuff being indexed, and one of them is pages. And now it shows you all the pages that have been, in this case, been tagged with the person tag. If you also tag things like items and tasks with person, that will appear here as well. We'll see that in a minute. Now, the nice thing is here, basically now you get a kind of a hierarchy, right? Like you see, okay, well, give me all the persons, and you just visit the person's name, the person's tag page, and now I can easily navigate to these different pages. So that's nice. What is nicer here than using folders is that you cannot just attach one hashtag to a page. You can add multiple. You can say, well, this is actually an enemy of mine. It's not only a person, it's also an enemy, and Jenny is actually a friend, right? And then now I can find all the pages of all my friends, and I can also find all the pages of all my enemies, right? By just simply navigating to those tag pages, or to all the people, all the persons, by simply selecting there. What you may notice is that in the page picker view here, we show the actual tags, and you can also use it in the page picker level to filter. So if you want to only filter persons, you just start typing that name, and then that list will filter down to only pages with a person hashtag. Right? So So that's kind of nice as well. So now you can do multiple dimensional like tag, or at least like you don't have to decide on a single hierarchy that everything has to fit into. You are more free to kind of add random hashtags to all kinds of pages and find things that way. As I mentioned, tags can apply at different levels. So we just saw tags that apply at the page level. You can also attach tags at the level of items, and this is what we call an item in SilverBullet, so like an outline item. You can say, well, this is info or whatever, right? Here I can say, for instance, to do. You can also put things in here like person, which we already use for pages. And then when we go there, you will see that now, in addition to the objects of pages, we also have items that are tagged with this person tag, right? So this page gets different sections. Honestly, tagging of items, I do not use myself a lot. There are use cases for it, but yeah, too advanced for this particular video. What I do use a lot, and I would actually recommend you adopt, is tagging of tasks. Because tasks you will end up using in all kinds of different ways. In the previous video, I showed you using these tasks as kind of reminders for other pages, like when I'm meeting Hank, please remind me that I have to talk about a certain topic, and that I turned that into a task. So as a result, your total task space, if you will, kind of quickly gets polluted by all kinds of different things. Some things are completed, some things not completed. It's really useful to be able to filter down that list of tasks to only the things that you care about. And a way to do that is by attaching a tag. So for instance, if I decide for myself all the actual things I have to do, like that are on my to-do list, I will kind of encode in my space as tasks with the to-do tag. Then what I can do is simply visit that tag, and I get a list of all the to-dos across anywhere in my space, completed and not. So this is not ideal, but okay. And I can just go there and I can see what they were about, or even just tick them off right in place, right? And that will automatically update the task here as well. Honestly, this is nice, not great. So what you will probably want to do is write custom queries around this. This is a topic for another session, but it already gives you an idea of like how you can start to use tags to annotate pages, items, tags, and other things to make it easier to find that. One thing that is kind of an advanced feature, but I'll just inject here anyway, is what you can do is you can create custom data objects and tag those as well. So if you want to somehow start tracking a contact list somewhere, what you can do is you can do this. So you can say, hey, there's this code block syntax. So generally this code block syntax you use for inlining code, right? If you have some Perl to write, then you say, use blah, blah, right? You can write Perl code this way and you get syntax highlighting. You can also use this to encode data objects, custom data objects. So say, and then it's in YAML format. So here we say alf location space or whatever. And now what we effectively did, it just looks like a regular YAML data block here. But when we actually navigate to the contact tag, which I'll just, for convenience, add here, we will see that in addition to the page I just tagged, there's also a data section now, which kind of gives you a kind of a database style view, a table view of all the contacts, all these blocks of data that we can litter across our space, and centralize it here and say, hey, there's a contact object with the name alf and location space, and there's some additional metadata here. This is a little bit advanced. We'll get back to this when we will talk about queries and objects, but I just wanted to put it out there because some people actually do not know about this feature. All right, then last but not least, documents. So SilverBullet is, of course, optimized to help you taking notes and textual notes. Honestly, it's not really made to be very visual. However, you do want to, from time to time, put in some additional content there. You may have a picture that you took that you want to put in a note, or some PNG that you found somewhere, or a PDF that you want to keep track of. SilverBullet supports that. It has some convenient features to kind of manage that. So what you can do, there's different ways to kind of get content into your space. There's a command, upload file. I usually end up using this only on mobile because then when you select that, it will ask you to, I don't know, pick a picture from your photo roll and it uploads that photo to your space, which is kind of nice, right? What I do more often on a desktop setting is just simply drag and dropping content. So here I just dragging and dropping a PDF. It will upload that. It's now part of my space. I can click that and it will open it. So that's kind of convenient. I can also use a feature called transclusion, which is when you put an exclamation mark in front of it, and then it kind of injects or inlines the content of the linked document in this case, but you can actually also link a page and put it inside here. And in the case of the PDF, that's maybe not a great experience because it's not so easy to read. For images, this is much nicer and actually is a default behavior. So let me quickly find, because I lost it, an image that I can show you here. Right, so here, for instance, the SilverBullet logo, I just drag that in here. By the way, you can also copy and paste stuff. So if you just copy an image from some website, you can just paste it in there. That will work fine. By default, images are being transcluded, so hence this thing. And then you have the image in here. If I remove that exclamation mark, it just becomes a link. For images, we have inline viewers, so you can zoom here a little bit like this. Things like that. That's built into SilverBullet right now. You can install document viewers for different file types. Like there are some things, like there's a more advanced PDF plug, for instance, that allows you to annotate and even index PDF documents. There's an EscaliDraw plugin that allows you to have inline EscaliDraw drawings, which is a very cool feature as well, which maybe I'll demonstrate in a future video. Honestly, like, document support in SilverBullet is not the best feature that we have, but it does work, right? So you can use it to drag and drop content in there and kind of keep all your data centralized there. There is, in addition to a page picker, there's also a document picker. So this is Command O, and then you can type the name and then you can view the content there or do some manipulation and renaming. So that's all there. But yeah, documents are supported in case you didn't realize. All right. I think this is enough for today's video. See you next time.